Danny Two Guns, the Lisa-Kimeni Foster here with a special edition of the Erie Fitness Lifestyle Podcast. This special podcast is the Farewell to the FUPAcast. It may or may not be sponsored by Girls Gone Strong and Molly Galbraith, who have the amazing hashtag #MyBodyMyBusiness. So do we want to do a cheers to the FUPAcast?
We definitely do.
And it's My Body, My Business.
We definitely do.
Because I'm officially working, mine is capped while Hyphens is open, but we're going to do a cheers nonetheless, and I'll partake at a later date.
Yes, you will.
And by later date, I mean this evening.
Yes, and that's not what's in your water bottle
This
right
is not what's in my water bottle right now, though it would be amazing. But because of the Farewell to the FUPAcast, I got some gifts. 4 unicorn tears for little unicorn bitches, which, you know, may or may not be Danny Two Guns as a crier.
Yes.
And then
Bless his heart.
the story of Daniel Two Guns and Hyphen, which we don't know necessarily how to feel that Hyphen looks way better with a receding hairline Richard Simmons cut than I do, but it's on.
It's a good thing that I love Richard Simmons.
There were stats on Richard Simmons and how it was only in the acute, but he was responsible for more pounds lost acutely off of everybody, because for a while it was, you did Richard Simmons.
He has great street cred.
Oh yeah.
And the thing I love about him is that he had people of every shape and size in all of his videos.
When we in the fitness center, they talk about how 80% of people never step foot in the gym, and it's how do you reach those people? And it's like, he did that well.
He did.
We don't knock Richard Simmons.
And we don't knock him because he genuinely cared about people.
Yes. Rule number 1.
And he wore short shorts, which, even though you don't wear short shorts, sometimes you make your shorts into short
Well,
shorts,
I mean,
which is kind of uncomfortable.
I feel like the amount I got made fun of means I should just wear them more often.
No. Maybe you should show your socks before I forget.
Show my socks.
Socks.
Can I get a confirmation that we're in the shop, Joe Joseph? As a testament to Lisa, I have my very manly Wonder Woman socks on, which are Wonder Man Woman, because we don't segregate genders, because why would we?
No.
Did you see my
We're good to look back?
Yes. Confirmation from Joe and his bed of nails back?
Okay.
Did you see my one Facebook post from the quote from Mike Boyle to have a give a shit meter or give a shit gear and put it on high?
Put it on high.
Rule number 1, genuinely care. Boom.
I'll toast to that.
Mm-hmm. So
where shall we start?
Well, what is the Farewell to the FUPAcast?
The Farewell to the FUPAcast is my, I don't want to call it a funeral of sorts. Funeral for the FUPA. FUPA is an acronym. We'll start there for people who may not be on urbandictionary.com. Retired folks such as my dad who now go on Urban Dictionary to look things up, which that's a whole other rabbit hole.
But that could be another podcast.
Yeah, FUPA has often has some definite like street definitions,
little
but
slangier slangs.
Yeah, slangier slangs, but we'll clean it up a little bit, and we'll call it fat upper pubic area. Yes, that's the acronym.
You can turn that into either gender's anatomy, depending on how slang you are.
Yes, thank you for your clarification, Daniel.
Listen, Ed Foster, like I just want, or not Foster,
I know.
Ed Committee. Yeah.
He would be happy to be married to Toby. He'll just swear at you more than he already does.
Somebody unibrow swears.
Yes, there's a
Love
few
it, yes.
Ed Committee-isms in there just for you.
Love it.
Or he calls you a tall, hairy MFer. It's a truth. Science.
I can't wait to just cry reading this.
Delve right into that.
Yeah. But I got unicorn tears for unicorn
so you're
bitches.
Good.
Yeah.
You're good. So tomorrow I will have my FUPA off. This is my motion for cutting it off. After many a year of painstakingly losing weight, as it just hangs there in the sag.
Hangs there in the sag.
Hangs there in the sag. So tomorrow is the day we shall wheel on into the operating room and say adios to the FUPA.
And then we'll just have even more better before and afters. Like, look what only Danny Two Guns and not surgical implements did.
It'll be like all the best infomercials.
Yes.
Where nothing was ever altered, I swear.
It's like lighting and flexing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like when you think hyphen can't get sexier. It's about to happen.
I was going to say, you never know.
well, be prepared, everybody.
Well, no, as I said, you never know. Like, how could it get sexier?
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
Hopefully, everybody will be sitting down when I walk in.
or they will be like quickly thereafter.
Yeah.
So why the need for a farewell to the FUPAcast?
Oh, why the need to tell everybody to shut their faces when it comes to their opinions?
That's what my body, my business may or may not stand for.
Yeah. I'd like to think that most people are well-intentioned when they give me the sympathetic head tilt of, are you sure you really want to do this? Or, are you sure you want to do it here in Erie? Have you made the right decision? Is it really time for that? As if I'm not an intelligent person who can't make my own choices and hasn't thought about it for a plethora of years.
Or that you've lost full-size humans worth of weight as you
Yes.
thought about this.
Right. I don't lose pounds, I lose people.
Right.
That's my mantra. And I'm just here to tell you that you need to shut your face and be supportive, or just shut your face.
Mm-hmm. That was the one meme, like when there's only one thing to do when you have an opinion about a woman's body, like not say anything.
Right.
Right. Yeah, especially strangers. Right.
How about if I'm telling you, like, oh, I'm about to do this, you just say, hey, good luck, even if you're thinking, wow, that's a really horrible decision, or hey, let me know if you need anything, if you're thinking, that's a really horrible decision.
Truth.
None of your business.
Right.
Right? It's the decision that's taken me a long time to come to. And a team of doctors that has helped me make the decision. You know, these are the same people who years ago saved my life during the apocalypse of 2009, are the same people that helped me make the decision that this was the time. So these are not people who almost 9 years later take my life, which almost was gone. They don't take it,
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly, exactly. And so they're not just going to let me end up with any surgeon doing whatever. I remember years ago when I first started losing weight and thinking, oh, on down the line, like, this is going to be a factor. And even though I've lost weight over time, it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still bad. I remember asking my doctor, my primary physician, what do you think about this? And it was almost a hard no. Like, for somebody with your medical situation, this is really iffy. And now, over the years, as she's seen my health improve and they've researched how to do things and figure out the safest way for me to go about this, it's taken a team of people to decide this is how we're going to do it, and now is the time. So you can't explain that to people in a quick conversation, nor should I have to.
Right. Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Right.
You don't have to.
Right. Just deal with it.
Well,
That's all.
that's all.
I'll toast to that.
Yes. Well, actually, my mouth is getting dry, so I will as well.
Yes, thank you. I have lots of notes about what I want to say about this, so I shall open
So
up to
many
the
notes.
page.
This is the first podcast we've done where I haven't gotten a plethora of texts from Hyphen about preparation and things. So I was like, it's either a good or bad sign. But I went with good because I have faith.
Well, I have lots of notes
It's just
for myself.
There's a farewell to the FUPA full page worth. Is it a poem? Is it a?
There's a poem. There's lots of little bullet points, because I think, I don't know, there's also a stigma with plastic surgery that I feel like, which also goes with the Girls Gone Strong thing, that it's people's choice to do whatever they want, and so you should just leave it alone and just be supportive of whatever a person decides to do with his or her body. And it's not a decision that people come to lightly, so there's a lot of physical and emotional things that are attached to it. I know that this is going to be a very emotional journey for me. I know that the thing that I look at the most is that it's taken years for me to lose my weight, so that my body has changed slowly, which has been good, because I recognize myself in the skin. Whereas I know people who have had, I know a lot of people who have had weight loss surgery have struggled, and I can't speak for them, but just the people who have talked to me about it have said that the weight loss has gone so quickly for them that it's difficult for them to look in the mirror and recognize themselves. For me, it's been almost 9 years, so the person in front of me is the person I recognize. It's been so slow. now it's time for me to lop off the extra stuff.
Well, it'll be the third person Toby has been married to, but not
Right.
necessarily a different person for you.
Right, and lucky
Yes.
for him. I have tons of inappropriate jokes about the person the many people he gets to be married to.
Yeah.
He's so lucky. He gets to sow his wild oats and be married to the same person.
Right.
And P.S. Today is our anniversary of dating for 20 years,
Oh wow.
but being married for almost 17. So I'll toast to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much toasting. Mine's not alcoholic, so it's not as fun.
Later, Daniel. Later. But I'm prepared also for the emotional stuff that I think is going to follow, where I look at myself and think, oh, who is this person? And this is not a body I've ever seen. And I think there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize comes with it, which is also part of the decision that people need to make. And when people offer their opinions, it's hurtful
Mhm.
because they have no idea how much consideration has gone into what's going to happen tomorrow.
Someone as, well thought as you, for someone to acutely and immediately form an opinion based on something that you've given probably more than 9 years of thought to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can understand how that's frustrating.
It is, and it's like I'm an intelligent person.
Mhm.
I don't have a master's degree in science, but I do have one, and I have thought and talked to smart people and the most educated people I can find in the industry who have helped me come to this decision. So I would appreciate people's trust and me making my own decisions. My family and my friends support me, so I need my tribe and my outer tribe to do the same.
Well, I don't know if this is a fair parallel, but I feel like the first thing I thought of is when, even if it's clients or potential clients or people, when it comes to fitness and exercise, where like, oh, well, what about this diet, or like, what about this exercise, or like this thing, like, you should do that. And I was like, oh yeah, I had that thing or discussion in my head 10 years ago when I was learning about that thing, and there's a reason we don't do that thing, right? It's not like, oh yeah, no, that thing and part of it is the industry where there's a lot of miseducation or lack of education where they don't know, but it's like, no, yeah, I've known about that for years, and there's a reason we don't do it.
Right.
It's evidence and education based, not 5 minutes on the internet based.
Right. We didn't just like go to Google and make some quick decisions, and which I think is what people feel like I have done.
Oh, I mean,
And I think it's unfair. You've mentioned this before, and we've talked about this not on the lifestyle cast here, but in our own discussions, where I think it's unfair to say that there's not good doctors in Erie. Like almost everybody who's asked me, "Are you having this done in Erie?" and I've said yes, has been like, "Oh, really?" Like, And I feel like that's unfair to not expect that there are really professional, good people here who can do a solid job on what I need to do. It's like assuming that there aren't professional, cutting-edge fitness professionals in this city of weirdness.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's just because, and even, it's probably not even fair to say this, but like, just because the masses or the small majority may fall into this thing, doesn't mean that the top end of the bell curve doesn't exist, and it certainly doesn't mean that those who seek the education can't find it, right? We're like, hey, it just takes a little bit of research, because we've talked about this before. It'd be like, when are you going to leave Erie and open up somewhere else? And it's like, no, there's nobody else here.
Right, there's a niche here to serve, and there's a demographic of people who need you, same as the person who is going to be helping me tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, even till people get lumped in, like I joke about my surgeon, where he's a great surgeon. Like his bedside manner post-surgery could use some work, but he's a great surgeon.
Right, he does what he does.
Exactly.
That's the most important
that's what I need
thing.
him for, right?
Right, exactly. Let's see,
People
what
and
else?
their opinions.
Oh, there's so many opinions. Talk about the Girls Gone Strong. Like, what's their philosophy behind?
There's a lot that goes into Girls Gone Strong. We showed you the textbook of their certification, but essentially their brand is built upon female empowerment and all of the misconceptions that go along with that. So the My Body, My Business, one of the things with Molly Galbraith, the founder, she talks a lot about how, like, especially being a female in the fitness industry, where like everybody has an opinion about everything about them, and part of it could be because of, you know, Instagram culture, where a slim waist, big boobs, and a butt can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars just by exploiting that. But at the same time, just because you're a female in the fitness industry doesn't mean that every time you post a picture and, you know, you get critiques, because she'll talk about, she posts a picture and there'll be a handful of people who say they're so envious of her body, and then there'll be people who will say, I would kill myself if I had your body. And that literally is one of the quotes she says people said, and that kind of evolved into the whole my body, my business thing, because I don't know, you know, and it's weird for me too, because like we have a lot of clients, and, you know, transformations of their body are things we talk about, but like they've given me permission to have that dialogue with them, where like, especially the people you don't know and people just throwing in their opinions about things, it's one of those things that it's good to talk about it, because people don't typically talk about that, and, you know, why does this thing that is mine or hers in this instance something you feel like you could comment on, right?
It's one of the first times I ever experienced that online, because I have an incredible support group network of people who have supported this journey of mine for the whole time. But a couple of years ago, when Prevention.com published the article about me, about losing, at the time I had lost 155 pounds, and a former student of mine who was at the time writing for Men's Health magazine was the one who wrote the article. She's an incredible kid. It was a great honor to be written by about a former student, and I just was really happy to share the story, to show people like doing something like this, whether you have 5 pounds, 20 pounds, 100, 200, is possible. And to do it in a way that's difficult is still possible. I was really excited to share that story. And I didn't think about sharing it publicly. I didn't think that that would warrant anything but positivity until Prevention put it out there. And people started sharing it all over Facebook, and that was all fine because they were all friends of mine and former students of mine who were very proud. And I felt like, man, I really hit it big when, you know, my former student Kayla McBride, who plays WNBA, I'm like, man, I'm so famous now, and Kayla McBride is putting me out there. And but then when a couple of people commented on it, when Prevention shared it on their Facebook, people I don't know commented on it, and a man said something like, have you ever noticed that it's the smartest people who take the longest to figure out their lives? And I thought, well, he's calling me smart, that's great, nice backhanded compliment.
Right.
And then he went on to talk about things related to the way I looked, and another woman did the same thing and was critiquing that, and I didn't feel like I should personally comment on it, because it essentially would have been like me if I was in the ring with them, like beating them over the head with a chair.
Right.
And I didn't want to give credit to that, but so I let my sister do it.
Someone had to do it.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I just think it's so hateful that people, essentially, I picture them sitting in their basements, like saying mean things about people, about accomplishments that they have never made, or ways in which they have never put themselves out there to try to help people. And it's terribly horrible. It's just hurtful.
Well, it's another unfortunate parallel to that. It's like it's usually they're just ignoring their own faults, like, because it's not the person who's completely without flaw who says those things, right? Because even like in coaching interns and employees and staff and team here, we talk about like with this, like judging people's easy and their hard, right, isn't fair, because everyone's easy and everyone's hard are not the same. So we end up talking about these things where, like, just because, like, again, a lot of times doesn't necessarily happen in Erie as much, is that people of like high affluence, like people who are super successful, make a lot of money, have amazing careers, have trouble putting fitness first, where it's easy to kind of, as a fitness person, like, oh, fitness came easy, which usually most of the time isn't true anyway, but they're
Does
easy.
anyone put fitness and easy in the same sentence?
Right, like the people like who were just born with a six-pack, right?
LD.
Well, LD has some movement stuff too, so it's.
I know. I just like to tease.
Yeah. No. Yeah, because
he works hard.
He had
he's a deer heart.
a plethora of cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory this weekend. We were in Providence, and he's like, "Look how bloated I am," and his six pack was just on top of like a little bit of a distended belly. Right, so it was still there.
We love you, LD.
But like.
And by we, I mean me.
Yeah, and me too. But judging people for someone's easy and someone's hard, because no one's easy and no one's hard are the same. So like, oh well, it's always the smartest person who takes the longest. Like, oh, so you're dumb as shit, but it took you not that long.
Right. I didn't understand that. And to judge someone's journey is extremely unfair.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're basically what my sister replied to the guy was, are you in your mom's basement commenting about people's lives when really you should be out there making a story for yourself that's public, that someone would want to write about you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've always just told my students that when people comment about you, I feel like it's mostly it's just jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just their hateful comments come from a place of jealousy or something they feel like is wrong with them. So, if someone's saying like I would kill myself if I had that body. Well, what is it about you then that's so horrible?
Well, and I don't, because I know we've talked about this, but I don't know if we talked about it on here, where a lot of times, like, the negative, hurtful things people say has nothing to do with the person they said it to.
Right.
Like, just a reflection of them. Where, like, we have a client who was in the New Year, New You, and she was telling me, because she was telling one of her clients of a different profession, that she felt like she let her teammates down because she didn't lose as much weight as they did. And like she still lost like double-digit pounds, right? So something like ridiculous. And the woman said something along the lines of like, "Oh, well, maybe you can ask to get your money back because you didn't do well." And like our client was hurt by that, and rightfully so, because it's a horrible thing to say. But the other thing is like well-adjusted, normal, happy people don't say shit like that, right? And it's like that's just and it's hard, right? Because you're going to be hurt by it because it's hurtful, but it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It has to do with them.
I've even had, like, in telling people about my choice, which I always have a hesitation now. People have asked
Your
me,
choice, like the removal of the FUPA?
Right, the FUPA. The farewell of the FUPA, the funeral of the FUPA, whatever you want to call it.
Funeral of the FUPA. Sounds like an emo band.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We should have them, like, the people in the surgery area tomorrow will be the pallbearers for it.
Yes.
I think that sometimes it's also a jealousy factor because they have work on their body that they want to have done. And, like I had a person say to me the other day who maybe has a few small folds of skin. I mean, who doesn't look at their body when they don't have clothes on or whatever and think, oh, I could have this nipped or this tucked. This isn't a small nip and tuck. This is you can imagine starting out at 410 pounds, losing 175 pounds of that, and then seeing literally like the old version of yourself just hanging in front of you. So this isn't like, like I need this nipped and this tucked or whatever. And if that is somebody else's struggle, I'm not saying anything about that either. But it's unfair, I feel like, to compare it to the same thing, which is what I had someone do the other day. And I just thought, normally I just let it go because I'm not going to get into a big thing about it. But I looked at the person and I said, no, this is not the same thing. Do you have 15 to 20 pounds of excess skin hanging on the front of your body? No, you do not. It is a constant reminder of my old life, which is fine. I would prefer to see the scars of that, not like shit that I have to fold into every outfit that I have to wear. Like compression hose under every dress, every outfit that I want to wear that doesn't look like what it should look like on someone else. No, it's time. Bye.
Well, and again, because there's no judgments on people's journeys, but at the same time, it also downplays the journey of the magnitude of the journey of which you had. Like I don't think we're playing the same game.
We're not playing the same game, and this is almost 9 years of not just losing weight, but changing my entire life. It's learning how to eat better, exercise differently, change my entire life, which I feel like I have more than earned what I'm about to wheel in and do tomorrow. This is a gift to me. It's not like a punishment or something like that. I look forward to having, people are like, oh, you're going to have scars. Yes. And when I look at them, I think it'll be a good reminder of don't go back and good.
Well, you said it earlier, just you'll have a scar as per the normal vernacular of a scar, but having 15 to 20 pounds of excess skin is a scar too.
Right.
Right. It's just
It's
a different
worse.
scar. Yeah.
And I like to wear cool outfits.
Right.
So this is gonna up my fashion game
Well,
even
I was
more.
going to say, it's almost not fair to the average person, but
It's-
that's neither here nor
And
there.
by almost, I mean it's definitely not.
Definitely not. I was being nice. Sarah.
Yeah. Bless their hearts.
Bless
too.
their hearts.
That's okay.
Right?
I'll always have size 12 wide feet, so I'll never be able to wear the proper shoes that go with them.
That's okay.
That's how God humbles me. He makes
Just
me
the
have to
feet.
wear like
Yep.
nun shoes. The ones you cannot hang over a
Let's see.
guy's shoulders. Did I say that loud?
Oh, I have no idea what you just said.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and then the ones that gout fit in the shoe. Right, yeah.
Only the orthotics fit in there.
Right. when they're on the shoulders, the guys don't care.
It's fine. No,
Yeah,
they're okay.
that's
Behind
it.
that. It's okay. Knock them in.
Yes.
I'll stop there.
Just,
Done. JoJo's can edit that out.
Just-
It's too bad.
nah, we're okay.
Don't look at my notes.
In terms, I didn't know.
This is not for Daniel to look at.
I don't know if I actually was. My gaze was there.
Okay,
but,
don't do that. Let's see.
So you're the one who likes being prepared.
Yeah,
I
I do like off the cuff, which isn't.
Well,
It's not my scene.
having a plan is useless, but planning is vital. Dun dun dun.
Whatever. I think that about covers most of my notes.
We tackled all those notes already?
Yeah, this is basically the stuff that I wanted to cover. I mean, I'm nervous about some things moving forward, like what size underwear am I going to be in, and
You have to buy all new
where
clothes.
am I going to get my clothes? How will I afford them? So if anyone's listening, wants to donate to my cause. I
New
love-
hyphen clothes or newer hyphen clothes.
Yes, to the FUPA cause.
The FUPA cause.
The smaller hyphen, the little hyphen.
The little hyphen.
Little hyphen. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Those are good problems to have. It's more important to have lower blood sugar, no diabetes, stuff like that. We can figure out the outfits and the underwear later.
A lot of people.
It's more important to be alive.
They
I
lose a lot of
think.
weight and like, Dan, I have a problem. I can't afford to keep buying new clothes. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you look better and you're still alive.
It's like if there's any
How-
problem, I'm gonna go with
How
that one.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Shall we read the farewell to the FUPA?
I'm in.
Okay. So, in typical English teacher fashion, I shall put the glasses on. Don't look, JoJo's. Put them down just for you. I had to write a farewell poem to it. I am going to ask the surgeon to read this tomorrow, hence the extra copy.
Because I thought they were for Joe and I. They were not.
No, I
Yeah.
just had your office print them out
It's-
for me.
It's work related, right? It's for the podcast.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
texted Sarah and said this is work related.
It's like the 3
Yeah.
cents that it took to print it was part of her salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I brought you a beer. I always bring you
I was gonna
gifts.
say,
I
like
pay
this
you to
gift,
be on this.
yes.
Yes, all the you'll enjoy all the nooks and crannies that this.
There's
Little scrapbook
there's
has
so
to
many
offer.
levels to that. At Day Two Guns on Instagram, you can see a little breakdown of the
This is me being annoyed about how my entire life is on Instagram.
via Danny Two Guns.
It's like when I gave you my envelope of late payment, and that was also on Instagram.
that was probably like the second most comments I've ever gotten on a story. Was from that one. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to meet her," and I'm like, "I don't know you."
It's so annoying that I give you an envelope with, oh well, this is late, fucking stretch. I hate you.
You gotta give people like reality show, like behind the scenes. That's my Instagram story. It's
Oh.
behind the scenes.
Well, and my poverty is funny, or
Well, it wasn't poverty, because
well, I said I'm poor on there, and you're like, oh, this is going on Instagram.
poor,
Ha, ha,
poor
ha.
people don't say they're poor.
Ha ha ha! Hyphen has all these student
You're
loans to pay.
wealthy in so many ways.
I'm blessed. We'll leave it at that.
Well, wealthy doesn't just assume finance.
That's true.
English teacher.
Living in a house with no air conditioning, but we living in a
That-
house.
That would be.
We living in a house, and I've traveled third world, so I know how wealthy I am.
And that's when my wife was looking at houses to buy. She had all these things, and I'm like, it needs to be not that far from work, and have air conditioning. Go.
I looked at mine in January and was moving out of living in a garage. So it was like, let me just move somewhere right quick. And it didn't have air. And it still doesn't. And I'm hella hot. That's why my hair is only like sort of perfect
It's like
today.
99%. Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta let it
And
go.
she has surgery tomorrow, so.
And it's not gonna look great either. I just need everyone to get over it. And if you have an opinion, too bad.
Hashtag.
Don't offer it.
My body, my business, my hair, F you.
Yeah, and even when my hair is hella messed up in the hospital, it still looks better than yours on its best day.
That's unequivocally true of me, so.
I didn't look at you when I said that. Maybe one eye might have traveled over there.
I mean, Joe's got some pretty decent hair, so.
Thomas Jefferson. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Farewell to the FUPA. After 9 years of painstaking hard work, there's this reminder that looms and lurks. It's a ridiculous mound, a front load. It bounces and ripples, sways and slows. I can't even call it a muffin top. The sizable roll. It's a moment-to-moment belly flop. That makes me laugh. As I move, this excess skin and fat love to slap. They have their own beatbox going barap-a-bap-bap. For decades, it has provided a cacophony of noise. But while it clamors and romps, I handle it with poise. It claps, slaps, farts, and squeezes. The time has finally come to say adios to this fanny pack of cottage cheeses. I love it when I laugh at my own jokes.
Hey.
Jokes. FUPA is an acronym for Fat Upper Pubic Area, a part of my body that has caused me and some onlookers mass hysteria. So, as my FUPA and I part ways, I have some final words I'd like to say. There are certain things about this sag of skin I will not miss. Wearing Spanx underneath every dress, choking my bladder into a constant state of piss. I look forward to saying goodbye to this extra piece, especially so I have more room in every airline seat. At 175 pounds lighter, so much of my body has become toned and tighter. However, there are some parts that are just too stretched. And to think diet and exercise alone will handle them, well, that's just far-fetched. Every ounce of this weight I have lost myself. Now I just need some surgical help to get rid of this shelf. Therefore, this FUPA is about to get lopped. Keep your opinions and thoughts to yourself. Just stop. To all of you folks who question, you sure you want to do this? In turn, I ask you, what if there was something about your body that felt terribly amiss? Imagine essentially losing more than a whole person, yet looking in the mirror and seeing all that hanging remnant of that 400-pound version. I have sweated and toiled through this transformation. All the improved eating and exercise habits set the foundation. A healthy lifestyle I have put in place, and after this surgery, I will have scars as reminders, and I shall gratefully embrace. It's hard to imagine my revised body in this next phase. Nevertheless, I shall continue to set the world ablaze. I've always been confident, but now, no mirror will be safe. Especially now as I strut my stuff and have way less chafe.
I was hoping that was going to be in there.
Gold bond stocks going way down. Where there was sag, there shall be newfound swag. First, I should probably hit up European wax. The shrubs below the underhang may have gotten a bit lax. This luggage that I carry below my waist has traveled a journey, but now it's just misplaced. It's time to move on to a more mobile, sexier life. Okay, doc, prepare the surgical knife. And there it is. Farewell to the FUPA.
We can't beat that. Dating Two Guns. The Lisa Hyman, Committee Foster.
FUPA slap.
FUPA slap. Adios, FUPA.
Adios.
That was good.
That's done. Bye-bye. Adios.